7:30 in the morning on Monday, May 15th. And for the next 7 days, I'm gonna be using zero social media. And now this is something I've done in the past, not for 7 days. I've done it for about 4 days, and it absolutely changed my life. And as of recently, I've been going through quite a tough time in my life amidst an already tough season that's been going on for a year or two. Within this, social media consumption predicated on my business has been a huge problem for me, and I've really felt my dopamine levels flatline recently. You'll know when like the mundane things no longer make you happy, like watching a sunset, or for me, something that weirdly changes like my consciousness of scent. Like I stop smelling my environment. I stop smelling flowers and trees and air, and I don't know why that happens, but it has to do something with receptors and so many more things. It's really something you can feel, and I can always attribute it to social media because I can literally take a day off and immediately feel better. And so I've been meaning to do an entire 7-day dopamine detox for a really long time now. I've never actually done it for 7 days. I've never done it with zero social media. I'm not even gonna be posting. People are gonna think I went ghost, which I'm going ghost. We're gonna focus on a lot of exercise, a ton of work, taking care of myself, meditation. It's just gonna be a week of self-care in exchange for all the time I would normally spend scrolling social media or checking social media or posting and then checking my posts and all these things that this week I wanna further understand. And so at the same time, we're gonna be doing research to understand how and why social media consumption and all these other things in our modern day society can just deplete our dopamine levels so much. But first, I need to go on my morning bike ride. Podcast.
Most people know that dopamine is involved in pleasure to some extent or another. And nowadays, people are starting to appreciate that dopamine is also intimately involved with motivation, drive, and pursuit. Dopamine is critical for overcoming procrastination, for ensuring ongoing motivation, and indeed for ensuring confidence. Dopamine is what's called a neuromodulator, which simply refers to the fact that it's a chemical that modulates or changes the electrical activity of other cells. And the cells I'm referring to are neurons.
My biggest habit recently has been my style and fashion changes, and I'm just not in a place where I buy new clothes. I have a lot of great companies that send me clothes like Elwood and Ben Sherman, Boohoo, and all these companies. All my shirts I want shorter. Like I just want like more of a cropped, tapered fit. So I just cut them all. This shirt is actually the start of it. I cut this a long time ago. Shirts, jackets, sweater, like hoodies. I just cut things now. And the other day I was thinking I had these pants that I love, but I hate the way they're tapered at the bottom, so I'm just gonna cut the bottom off. I'm pretty much a seamstress over here, so like what's the deal? So if you guys want any custom clothes by Jordan, I'm pretty much Edward Scissorhands, so I'll just chop that up. Every morning I've been trying to do meditation. That's been a quote-unquote non-negotiable in my life. I'm kind of in a monk mode right now. I don't know why I say kinda. I say kinda because what happened was, if you know what monk mode is, essentially like a 3 to 6 month, however long you want to do, period of just hyper focus. And so it's no distractions. And it's usually like no pornography, which I don't consume anyway and haven't for like 6 months. No drinking, which I don't do anyway and haven't done for 6 months. Honestly, I say that to sound cooler because it was like a nice 3 months before New Year's that I didn't either, and I feel like I lose that. But I had 2 drinks on New Year's, so I don't know, 3-4 months. January, February, March, April, May. Oh, never mind. I haven't done that in 5 months. So my monk mode feels a little desaturated. And so that's why I say kind of. But essentially it's non-negotiable, 10 minutes of meditation every day. No social media scrolling during the day, but obviously we're doing the dopamine detox this week, so that just amplifies it. 1 workout at least per day, which I usually do too. No matter what, I'm either biking, maybe even walking, which I usually don't do, or running, even on days where I take off the gym. And there's one more. What is it? And then up every day before 6 a.m., which I actually just realized. I had a really rough night 2 nights ago. It's a long story. I was in bed at like 11:30, which is way past my bedtime. I was exhausted and life had been beating me up, so I slept until 7. This morning, I guess because I did that yesterday, I also slept until 7. This monk mode's gonna take a week of like filtering out the accidental incidents where I mess up. I will never intentionally mess up. Except that day, that night, I guess was intentional, but I knew it was intentional and I knew I needed it more than the alternatives. So shoes on the bed, not a typical addition, but sometimes I forget, and I am not taking off high tops. For the past couple weeks, I've gotten back into Wim Hof breathing. I think the type of meditation you do should be predicated on your goals or like what kind of mindfulness you're trying to have. But for me in specific, lately I've been really stressed out with life and overwhelmed. and I haven't been doing Wim Hof, and so my ability to manage that stress has gone down. And when I used to do Wim Hof, it was a lot better. And so I started doing Wim Hof breathing again, and at the end of my Wim Hof, I'll go into like a couple minute calm mindfulness meditation, because my brain is fucked up, and I know everyone thinks that their brains are scattered. I genuinely believe that I win. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm open to that idea. I have a really hard time calming my brain down, and so meditation is huge for that. Every day, non-negotiable, super important for success. Wim Hof app, best investment I've ever made. Not sponsored, wish it was. I want my payment in form of going to hang out with Wim Hof and swimming in ice lakes. It's 9:45. Everything in my morning routine, besides coffee, is complete. I have beans, but I ran out of milk yesterday, so I gotta go to the store. I'm drinking raw milk right now. I kind of have been in this thing where like I can't get raw milk when I'm out, like at a coffee shop, and there's times where I end up at coffee shops. So it's been kind of something I was battling. I wanted to do raw milk only. There are good effects of the raw milk that will actually transfer over into when you drink the milk that's pasteurized, because now you have the good bacteria in your stomach to process. But I was honestly doing it for other reasons, like skin and like thick mucus that I always have in my throat. That's really gross. That's essentially my morning routine. Bike ride every day. If I don't do a bike ride, I go on a morning run, and then every once in a while I'll just switch it up just to change up my schedule, because I'm very routined and I love my routines, and I know that if I'm gonna love routines and be a routine person, that every once in a while I need to switch it up because I get very attached to them. So sometimes I'll go to the gym in the morning instead of the evening. Okay, so correction, I always shower right as I wake up, one shower. It's just I have to shower to wake up, go on my bike ride, then I come home and I shower again. That's like my real shower. I get dressed, I meditate, and I make coffee. And that's like always been my morning routine, so. Coffee.
Some people have a greater propensity to pursue things like work or goals in athletics or relationships or a combination of those. Other people, unfortunately, have a greater propensity to pursue things like drugs of abuse. What are drugs of abuse? Drugs of abuse tend to be drugs that increase levels of dopamine to the extent that other types of pursuits in life that are adaptive for us, like work, relationship, school, etc., become irrelevant. The definition of addiction that I use, and that I believe really matches the neurobiology very well, is that addiction is a progressive narrowing of the things that bring us pleasure.
So I just filmed a couple short form content videos, conceptual based videos, and I already had my first moment where I felt an inclination to break what we're doing here. And so initially when we were going into this, I was like, I'm gonna go ghost on social media for the whole week. Essentially, I'm not gonna post either, because A, posting is just being on the platform is going to entice me to use it, and B, it'll be a good sign and message to the audience that that's what I was doing when this video comes out. It's like, if you were wondering where I've been this whole time, you're like, where's Jordan? He hasn't posted in 7 days. I've been doing a detox. And I've been going through shit, but it's a good excuse to go through a detox and get some dopamine back into my life. And I just had a moment where I was ready to throw that out the window. I just filmed these videos. I'm like, I'm gonna edit them. I'm like, oh, I wanna throw them up because we should probably throw up content. I'm like, Jordan, just stack content. Just stack a ton of content. It's better to have more content than less content. It's better to get ahead so that you never run out. And this is a good week to just do it. And it's just the fact that I'm so addicted to social media that I already am convincing myself to just trash the original plan in any regard. It might not be to use social media, but it would just still get me on the platform and my eyes can still see, you know what I mean? Weak moment. So we're at Barnes & Noble for two reasons. Reason A, well, we need something to pass time because, you know, we spend a lot of time on social media, so now I'm gonna replace some of that with a lot more reading. And two, we need to find out more about dopamine in this series, so I found a really good book on dopamine that should pertain to this detox. I love this place. Barnes & Noble is the most wonderful place in the world. There might not be a better vibe anywhere. Best ever. I need to read that. I don't know how to find books. Maybe I should read how to find books by alphabetical order for dummies. Dummy. Secured. Good, thank you. So usually we read books like, I don't know, 20 pages a night, maybe 20, 30 pages a night if I get really into a book. But since we're doing this for 7 days, we need to finish this whole book in the next 7 days, which is great because like I said, I have a ton of newfound time. I don't know, it'd be good for my peace. But now I gotta go to the gym. I don't know if I'm gonna bring you guys. Maybe.
I'm a selfish kind of person with a soul trying to fly. to break the laws of nature. I learned to love before I died.
What is going on, guys? How are you? So over the course of this 7-day detox, I am gonna get into this book. Now tonight I only had time to read 17 pages until my magnesium kicked in. That's a weird sentence. And I am just exhausted. I don't know if there's a sign of the detox or what. It's 9:30 and I'm so tired. Could be magnesium. I took magnesium for the first time last night. Irrelevant. It's something really good. We'll get more into the book. Tomorrow I plan to read another, 30 pages. I'll try to read 30 to 50 pages a day because we need to finish the book before the detox is over. And that way we can learn more about dopamine as we go along. I am going to be cutting out more things as we go. I do want to cut out caffeine around day 4 or 5 so that we can really feel the full effects. I don't know how much dopamine caffeine gives me. I'm not very addicted to it, even though I'm a massive coffee nerd. I only drink 1 latte a day. And honestly, I'm not a big caffeine fan. I don't drink energy drinks or anything, so I really just drink it because I love the taste and the culture. But we're still gonna do it because it chemically should trigger dopamine, and so I do wanna cut it out progressively as we get to the end and see if there's anything else we can cut out. Now before I go to bed, we gotta check my screen time today in general because it has gotta be so low. So the screen time today is just under 3 hours, which is honestly still a lot. Keep in mind, I listened to a 2-hour and 11-minute podcast today, which was absolutely incredible, by the way. It was a super infamous podcast that I've seen tons of clips from, but I've never actually gone back and watched the whole thing. It was Naval Ravikant on Joe Rogan, one of his most successful podcasts. Incredible. If you guys get the chance, check it out. So 2 hours and 11 minutes of that screen time was from the podcast. So that literally leaves 40 minutes. And those 40 minutes were spent texting in a group chat, and phone calls. That's literally all I did today. Not bad. I don't feel very different today. Normally when I do a dopamine detox, I immediately feel different, so I don't know why it's working a little slower. Probably just the way that I said that, working slower is probably why. I could be overthinking it. We'll see how we feel in the morning. Crazy transition.